Alright, so in this video we're going to do implicit differentiation, but you can see here that we are finding the second derivative. Okay, it says find y double prime. Now you might, in some textbooks, you might see it where it says to find the second derivative, and they may write it like this, and that means the same thing, because you know that y prime and dy dx, that means the same thing. So what I'm going to do in this video, if you've watched my other videos on implicit differentiation, you know when you take the derivative of this y squared term, it would be, you would have, bring the 2 down, subtract 1, so you would have 2y times the dy dx. But what I'm going to do, instead of multiplying by dy dx, I'm going to multiply by y prime. It just makes it a little easier to go through it, and there's not so much stuff. Doesn't look as cluttered up. Okay, but just keep in mind, writing y prime and dy dx, that's the same thing. Okay, we know we're taking the derivative. We are taking the derivative with respect to x here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we have to do is we have to take the first derivative. So we do implicit differentiation, so that's going to be derivative of x squared is 2x plus, and then remember, when we take the derivative of the y squared, it's just like taking the derivative of the x squared. Okay, you bring the 2 down, subtract 1, so that gives us 2y. But then you have to multiply by dy dx, or multiply by, I'm doing by y prime. Okay, and that equals, and then the derivative of 25 is 0. And now we have to solve for y prime. Okay, I have to find the first derivative first before I can find the second derivative. So I'm going to subtract the 2x to both sides, so that's going to give me 2y y prime equals negative 2x. Okay, and then divide both sides by 2y, so I get y prime equals negative x over y. Alright, so now I have the first derivative. Now I need to take the second derivative, so I have to take the derivative of this one. Okay, so to take the derivative of this, I'm going to have to do what? That's right, I'm going to have to use the quotient rule. So the second derivative, and there's my negative sign, I'm going to just leave it out in front. So remember, the quotient rule is the derivative of the numerator, which is 1, times the denominator, minus the derivative of the denominator. And what's the derivative of the denominator? Well, the derivative of y is 1 times y prime. Okay, so 1 times y prime is just y prime times the numerator, x, and that's all over the denominator squared. Alright, so now I have y double prime is negative y minus x y prime over y squared. Okay, alright, so that's going to give me y double prime is equal to I forgot my negative sign. It's going to be negative y minus x times y prime. Well, I want to get this y prime out of here, so that's going to be times negative x over y. Now how did I get that? Well, here you go. That's y prime right there. Y prime is negative x over y, so I just plug this in for y prime. Okay, and that's all over y squared. And so that gives me y double prime is negative. Now this negative here, that's out in front of the fraction. So that's going to give me y plus x squared over y over y squared. Now, do you remember how to simplify this? This is like a complex fraction. Remember that from algebra. I have to multiply each term by the common denominator. Well, what's the common denominator? You can look at this as being y over 1, and this as being y squared over 1. So my common denominator is y. So I will multiply each term times y, and that's going to get rid of this fraction here. So that's going to give me y double prime is equal to negative, and that's going to be y squared plus x squared, see the y's cancel, over y cubed. Okay, let's move this up just a little bit. And so now that's going to leave me with my second derivative. Y double prime is equal to negative, and this is going to be what? 25 over y cubed. Okay, and so this would be my answer. Now, where did I get the 25? Well, look at this. Isn't this x squared plus y squared? Well, what's x squared plus y squared? It's 25. Okay, and so I just replaced this x squared plus y squared with the 25, and so there's my answer, negative 25 over y cubed. Alright, so I hope this video's helped. If you like them, if you like my videos, you can subscribe. Alright, thanks.